right. What up, everybody? Welcome into another edition of Fantasy Fire and Ice podcast right here, NBA edition. Corey Parson, the fantasy executive, along with a couple of professionals, my man Dr. A, Steve Alexander, and Jonas Nader. Coming up on the program today, I'm going to start breaking down some players that play in the backcourt in the NBA, go through some rankings and some tiers of the point guard position. We'll talk some little shooting guard as well. But we are approaching the start of another NBA season. Dr. A, how you feeling, my man?
Oh, good question. I did not have a voice yesterday, and I was at dinner with some friends, and they bought me a hot toddy, which I've never had, and then they threw a shot of bourbon in there.
Yeah.
And miraculously, I'm fully recovered.
There you go. No, the hot toddy will clear you up pretty good. You know what I'm saying? Now, Doc, I've known people to put Hennessy in a hot toddy, and then 9 months later, let me stop. But no, a hot toddy is definitely will get it out of you. What's up, Jonas? Any hot toddies for you?
No, sir, man. I'm just trying to catch up on sleep because I know this next, Tuesday, Wednesday, we ain't sleeping for 7 months. So you know how it is with the NBA starting.
Yep, no doubt. It's getting ready to kick off. You know what I'm saying? Well, you know what? Somebody was asking me about some content the other day, and I was trying to put something together. And for some odd reason, I don't remember, but I guess season to season it differs. But I don't know why. What is the you normally have full slates on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, right? And Tuesdays and Thursdays are generally the nights with the short slates, correct?
Yeah, Tuesdays are usually like 2 to 6 games. Thursdays, you usually have about 7 to 8. On a good night, sometimes you'll have like 2 TNT games and that's it.
Okay,
right?
Yeah.
So usually it's Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Now I think opening night just opens with 2 games, right? Last I looked. Yep.
I believe so. And I think Kevin Durant is he finally going to get recognized by the Golden State Warriors? Is that happening on opening night? I know he hasn't been to the Chase Center yet because of injuries and stuff like that. So he hasn't seen the Chase Center yet. But I do believe Kevin Durant starts off. I do believe that's how it happens, correct? Let me check the schedule right now. I got it up here.
I mean, it just seems so far like
it seems like a long
forever time ago, right? It would just be odd to do it.
Well, they don't owe them no rings. They lost their championship. Yes. Opening day, Tuesday, October 24th. It begins with the Lakers and the Denver Nuggets. So the Denver Nuggets will get their rings in front of LeBron James. Shout out to the Denver Nuggets. And then we go to the Chase Center for Phoenix and Golden State, and Kevin Durant will make his Chase Center debut. I'm sure he'll get a lovely ovation from the crowd of the Golden State Warriors, you know what I'm saying, as they pay tribute. I know we're going to get into to rankings and tiers and stuff like that, but let me ask you guys this question right quick. When this whole thing is said and done, this Warrior dynasty, does Kevin Durant go into like the Ring of Honor? Do you put a Steph, Clay, and Dre statue and include Kevin Durant? Like, is Kevin Durant the elephant in the room in the Golden State Warrior dynasty, Jonas?
I'd put Andre Iguodala above him.
Wow.
No, I'm just kidding. I mean, all 5 of them, honestly, that team was just something we'll probably never see again. They were just unbeatable. So, well, we thought, right?
Yeah. Shout out to the Toronto Raptors and Kawhi Leonard. Doc, you think Kevin Durant a big part of that? A big part. Does he get a retired jersey in the Chase Center? Does he get a statue of Kevin Durant shooting the 3 to eliminate the Cleveland Cavaliers? What do we got for Kevin Durant when his legacy is done in Golden State?
I think they probably will. I think the fans that were there when that was going down loved having Kevin Durant on their team. Loved having him there, and it didn't end so well, but I think in the end they won because of him. So I think he will be honored.
Yeah, no, I think it's fitting to do something for him. Just interesting to see, what the fan base thinks. Like I said, it may not have went down the best, but when it was out there and it was happening, it should have. It was great. It was fun to watch. It was an era of basketball that we'll never forget. And then, LeBron James couldn't beat him. But we're not here to talk about that. We're here to get into and discuss and talk about the point guard position, some shooting guards as well. And I want to kind of go through some of these tiers and kind of pick off a couple guys and ask you a few questions about these players. And I want to start down here in tier 7, Doc, where we have kind of a mixture of veteran point guards like Chris Paul and D'Angelo Russell and Spencer Dinwiddie and Russell Westbrook, and then guys like Emmanuel Quickly and Amon Thompson and stuff like that. Tier 7 is interesting mix of youth and veterans.
I think you want to have your point guards locked up before you get to tier 7 is what that list tells me. Because I don't want to mess with Chris Paul. Dennis Schroeder is probably the most interesting guy on that list to me, just because he's going to be running the show in Toronto, and there's not really anybody there to challenge him right now. So I think that's pretty interesting. D'Angelo Russell is somewhat interesting. I love Amen Thompson as a rookie, but I don't have to rely on any of these guys to carry me in assists. Like I want my starting point guards locked up well before we get to tier 7. But if I had to pick one of those guys, I think it'd be Dennis Schroeder.
Same question, Jonas. When you look at that grouping right there, down there in tier 7, let me read it off for you. Chris Paul, Emmanuel Quickly, DeAnthony Melton, Dennis Schroeder, Amen Thompson, D'Angelo Russell, Spencer Dinwiddie, and Russell Westbrook, who I've never been a fan of. Just throwing that out there.
I'm going to disagree slightly with my dad, Doc. I kind of like Chris Paul this year because he's so cheap, right? He's like round 8. His best attribute is obviously playmaking, and assists are extremely hard to find if you don't get a stud point guard early. So for that reason alone, I've seen Chris Paul drop to round 8. I'll take him there. I like D'Lo just a little bit because he's pretty good in the regular season, especially last year. I mean, he always flops in the playoffs, but we don't need to worry about that in the fantasy, right? And I do like DeAnthony Melton, but round 8 or round 9, you can probably wait much longer. So you can probably grab him around 10, 11. You'll lock up your steals. You get a half block a game, good 3-point shooter, and he'll get a nice little bonus if Harden ends up going elsewhere, which who knows now, man? What the heck happened yesterday? So.
Yeah, no, the Harden situation is getting interesting. Get into that a little bit. Yes, James Harden. Boy, I tell you what, that's a fascinating thing. D'Angelo Russell. It's funny you mentioned the playoff D'Angelo Russell, because after this, the Western Conference Finals this year, the meme of the guy from Howard Stern's Rat Pack saying, "Oh, what are you doing? Oh, nothing, just hanging around." Somebody had said that about D'Angelo Russell, and he actually liked the comments. You know what I'm saying? So it was good to see Russell have a little bit of sense of humor with that one right there. Doc, moving up the list right here. So Tyler Hero was supposed to be a part of a deal that would have sent Damian Lillard to the Miami Heat. The Miami Heat did not allow that to happen. Tier 6 is John Morant's in this tier right here. He's going to miss 25 games to start the year. Tyler Hero, Ty Jones, Markelle Fultz, who is somebody I've been burnt by millions of times by this point. Scoot Henderson, Marcus Smart in that same tier with John. And look at that trade. You got both the Jones brothers in here. Tyler Hero, Markelle Fultz, Scoot. Obviously, Ja's the man, minus those 25 games, Doc. I wonder why they never appealed that. I'll find that information out. They should have. I think they would have got that cut down if they would have appealed it. But anyway, Doc, what is your thoughts on that group right there?
Well, Ja was front page news on ESPN yesterday with more details about all the trouble he's been in. And I mean,
what'd they say, Doc? I can confirm or deny.
It's long. It was a long piece, but I don't think there's any more or less games coming. I think he's stuck at 25. So that makes Marcus Smart, first of all, great get for Memphis to have him there when Morant's going to be gone for that long. And also Marcus Smart's going to be a decent fantasy option. I do like Tyus Jones quite a bit and Trey Jones. You can get both of them kind of late in your draft. They're both starting point guards. They both have a lot of weapons to throw it to. I mean, what did Jordan Poole score in the first half last night? Did he have 29 at halftime?
Jordan Poole went crazy last night.
Something like that.
Yeah, so that's who Tyus is going to be playing with, and then Trey's got Wemby to throw it to. So I like both of those guys down here in this tier. And then Tyler Hero, I think, is going to be a big part of what the Heat do. So, and if you can sit on Ja Morant, more power to you. But I don't think in most leagues you're going to be able to put him on your IR. So it's, to hold John Morant, there's going to be some fantasy pain that comes along with that.
In 27 minutes, Poole scored 41. Now he did go crazy, Jordan Poole. Jonas, well, put it like, so as far as John Morant goes, the apple doesn't fall from the tree. I'll just say that. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
In the kindest way possible.
Yeah.
But also that report yesterday from Yahoo, that's a media member that didn't come from the organization. But that's a media member that put that out there. That did not come from the organization. But yeah, tough. Listen, you gotta do better. There's too much drinking. I tell you that straight up. It's too much alcoholism going on in that entire camp. It's too much alcoholism going on. But I think that everything should be back and under wraps. You know what I'm saying? But I do like the Jones brothers, and I think Marcus Smart was one of the best offseason additions this year. What are you expecting from Scoot Henderson? No, that's an interesting guy right there.
Yeah, I want to talk
about. Why
about
did he go to no big time college enough? And why did he just, what was that? How come we never seen Scoot in the NCAA tournament?
I honestly have no idea. I mean, I kind of think though, like the G League suited his style a little more than the college game would, right? It's a little bit more of an athletic game, a little more open on the floor, and that's what we're going to see. Like outside of his mid-range game, his jumper right now isn't ready. I think that's fair to say, but he's just an explosive athlete in the mold of like a young Derrick Rose. We're going to see steals right away. We're going to see plenty of assists, plenty of dunks. I think his field goal percentage will be slightly higher than people are expecting just because he's just going to try and score in the paint every single time, right?
Yeah.
So I think he's going to shy away from jumpers early on, which is fine. I mean, fantasy owners don't care. But I like Scoot Henderson. I don't think he's going to be like a top 100 guy right away just because of the efficiency concerns, like turnovers and stuff like that. But you telling me second half of the season, I think we could see a really, really nice breakout for him. And the only thing I didn't disagree with here is Markelle Fultz, I think, should be maybe in tier 5.
Really?
Maybe I'm higher on Fultz than others, but
do I need to go back to Markelle Fultz again?
I don't know. He's good, man. He was really good last year. The Magic are improving. He's got so many weapons. He got Wagner with him. Fultz led the team in touches last year, 66 touches per game. All of his advanced metrics were through the roof. He started shooting threes at the end of the year with confidence. Free throw shot is improving. I like Markelle Fultz a lot.
Yeah, that shoulder looks like that shoulder finally did improve. You know what I'm saying? After that incident that will keep between the three of us. Looking up this draft board and going to tier 5, man, Doc, it's a lot of people that's really in love with Josh Giddey. This tier includes Holiday, Murray, Giddey, Anthony Simons, Scotty Barnes, and Tyrese Maxey. I think today's point guard in the NBA, your float game has to be on point. And this is a pretty good float game tier right here, with Murray, Giddey, Simons. Simons is still working on his. Tyrese Maxey has almost mastered it, you know what I'm saying? But I think this tier right here, you can find some value.
It's an interesting collection for tier 5, and I'm not sure Giddey should not be in a higher tier than this, like maybe 4.
Shadows.
Simons is going to be really interesting with no Dame in Portland. Maxey with this whole James Harden hanging out in Houston and not even being with the team when the report from over the weekend was Harden was going to play tomorrow night against the Hawks. Now he's not even with the team. So Tyrese Maxey and DeAnthony Melton, who we talked about a minute ago, if Harden's not there, both of those guys get a big boost. And then, Drew Holiday, solid. Jamal Murray, I think people are still scared of his injuries, but I mean, he's money when he plays, and he was great last year. And I think there's a lot of value in tier 5.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with Doc on that one, Jonas, right there. I like the way tier 5 is looking. But right quick, though. So Tyrese Maxey wasn't with the 76ers. He was in Houston with James Harden?
Wait, really?
Is that what you're saying?
Wait.
I thought that's what you said.
No, James Harden. Was
Oh,
in
I thought you said Tyrese Maxey was down there. What? I'm about to say, I would have been like, you got to get your butt up here, son.
Yeah, please
You
leave
can't
him
be
there.
out there with James. Oh, okay.
Harden is away from the
Yeah.
team. Maxey is with the
Okay,
team.
got it. Okay.
And Maxey is going to ball out if Harden
No
is
doubt.
not there. Also, you know, if you're watching live with us, you can follow along on these tiers. It's one of the columns. Just go to sportstopia.io and click on NBA and then go to the second page. I think it's right there.
All right, cool. Yeah, that's where the content resides right there. Thanks for clearing that, getting that out there for them, Doc. Jones, what do you think of this tier 5 group right here with Holiday, Murray, Giddey, Simons, Barnes, and my guy Tyrese Maxey?
Man, speaking of Maxey, last year, 13 games without Harden, he was at 25 points, 5.4 assists, and 3.8 rebounds. He's just going to eat. Now, I knocked him down around when I heard that Harden was going to play again for the 76ers, but now, what's going to happen now, right?
Yeah. What is going to happen? If I'm Nick Nurse, I'm like, can we get this figured out before the season starts? Because I really don't need this guy tanking this opportunity. You know what I'm saying?
Now,
what I would like to see happen is I would like for Daryl Morey to make this very painful on James Harden. I'd like to see him just chill. Be like, I'll trade you when I get a deal that I like, but I'm not going to bust my butt to make sure you're happy. And I mean, you stay at home and watch it on the couch. He's a free agent next year. Harden's not going to get the money he wants next year.
I understand that, Doc, but you know, he did opt out when he could have got that money. That's still, like, I can see both sides here. Now, I understand promises are broken, you know what I'm saying? With that being said, I can kind of see where, you know, Harden does have a legit, but then again, if I'm James Harden, I just signed the contract when it's there in front of me, you know what I'm saying? So he's partially to blame for that too. So I see where you're coming from.
From a fantasy perspective, it just drives me nuts.
Yeah.
From a human being perspective, it drives me nuts. I don't understand how Harden still has a fan base. You know, this person I'm friends with in town, she's like, oh yeah, my grandson loves James Harden.
Because he's cool. Like, he dribble between his legs, shoot step back threes. Kids like stuff like that. Kids don't get the financials of it, Doc.
I'm not even talking financials. I'm talking about pouting and getting your way out of every situation.
What do you think children do?
Don't like.
Grandsons are very
dark
good
horse
at that.
team, guys. A dark horse team to get James Harden is Miami now.
Really?
You watch.
Interesting.
They need a point guard, right? I mean, James Harden's still better than Kyle Lowry, for God's sakes, right?
Yeah, for real. But Kyle Lowry hit some clutch threes in the playoffs last year, too, doing that run. I got to give Kyle Lowry his props for that. Because I thought Kyle Lowry Kyle Lowry's been in the league almost 20 years now.
I was going to say he's about 47. And also, why not send James Harden to Dallas and put Kyrie, Harden, and Luka 3-point guards?
He don't like. Remember Kyrie over and told him in Brooklyn that he was washed up, and then James Harden got in his feelings and wanted to be traded. So it's probably not going to work out.
I don't think he's going to Dallas. Miami makes
that does make sense. The Miami thing does make sense. I just don't know if James Harden is a Heat culture guy.
Yeah,
is he built for any culture?
Exactly.
Any team culture?
No.
Like, what team culture is he built for? I
mean, listen, I can't knock that. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, all right. Let's move up tier 4. Cade Cunningham, Darius Garland, Fred VanVleet, De'Aaron Fox, and Jalen Brunson. This is an interesting group because I would think that all of these guys right here would be higher. Doc Cunningham. Well, Cunningham hasn't really played too much. Garland is a guy. VanVleet is terrific when he's rocking and getting his steals and stuff. De'Aaron Fox was mentioned in MVP circles last year, and Jalen Brunson has basically revived the franchise that's been dormant for 30 years.
Well, the first 3 tiers, we've only got 3 guys in each tier. So there's only 9 players in front of this tier. And these guys are all on the cusp of being in that top 10 range, especially like Jalen Brunson. I love him in New York. I loved him in Dallas. I love Brunson's game. De'Aaron Fox, just such a great year last year. Finally came through and lived up to the hype, and we all enjoyed that lighting of the beam, and the whole run the Kings went on was a feel-good NBA story last year. The most interesting guy out of that group, well, I guess 2 of them. Fred VanVleet going to Houston is going to be wild. because he's going to be playing with so many kids. And he's going to kind of be steering that ship. And then Cade Cunningham only made it through 12 games last year, but those 12 games, 20 something points, 6 assists, 6 rebounds, like he was putting up numbers. And he's going to be the focal point in Detroit for a very young Detroit team that's going to kind of be messy. But man, if Cade can stay healthy, he could be really
We should talk about Cade. I think he's extremely polarizing this year. I've seen him go in like the late second round, early third round. But I'm going to ask, like, what has he done to earn that? Why are people grabbing him so high when there's so many red flags? So, like, I know potential, but
the biggest thing in fantasy, upside. That's the key word in all of fantasy sports is upside.
But last year, 41% from the field, 27% from three. Like, those are red flags. His 3-point shot is not ready. His steal and block numbers were way too low for as good of an athlete as he is. There's just some red flags there. We got the injury risk. Obviously, he's playing on arguably one of the worst teams in the NBA. That's going to make him somewhat frustrating when it comes to March and April. I don't know. I just feel like people are a year early on this breakout.
It's interesting. Any one of y'all like big best ball guys, like a lot of best ball type leagues and stuff like that? I asked because I'm saying what would be your, say you did 5 drafts. How many, what would your, let's make it a nice round number like 10. You did 10 drafts. How many teams would you have Cade Cunningham on?
1 or 2.
Doc?
2.
Okay. So that's it. Not overexposed to Cade Cunningham.
All right, he's just extremely expensive, right? They've taken out all the value from his, from the upside we're talking about. If you're taking him late second round, where is he going to go? You know what I mean? Nowhere but down.
Yeah, true.
Not hitting that.
Yeah, I mean, the injury concern is bigger to me than his field goal percentage. I mean, he played 64 games his rookie season, shot 41.6. He played 12 games last year, shot 41.5. Those are identical, but it's also a small sample size. Also, we don't know what his summer was like. We don't know I really don't know much about his work ethic or anything like that. So he's a good free throw shooter. He's really not going to hurt you anywhere. I think there's so much upside there and so much promise that I'm fine rolling the dice on him if I don't get one of those other guys.
All right, let's go up a tier. Let's go up and talk about those top 3 tiers as you mentioned. The top 9 players at the point guard position. Number 1, I just say, well, the tier 1 is SGA, Halliburton, and Luka. That's legit. Then you got tier 2, with Curry, Lillard, and Ball. Tier 3, Jonas, is Trae Young, Devin Booker, and Kyrie Irving. If one of these 9 gentlemen was to fail, who and why?
It would be LaMelo Ball.
And
it's because people are taking him late first round, and it's because he has one ankle. If he was to fail. Now, I still like LaMelo Ball a lot, but I mean, look at his brother.
First round is too high?
It's fair. I think it's fair.
Okay.
But if he fails you, if that ankle fails you, then your team is just done. Like we saw it last year. I think 1 or 2 teams with LaMelo Ball. Ankle goes down. That's my team, right?
Stinks.
That injury is legit. I mean, look at his brother too. That whole family just had medical problems nonstop. It's kind of like the Michael Porters and them, Jonte Porter and them.
Yep.
But yeah, I think that makes me the most nervous here. Curry and Lillard, I feel like they're just safe late first rounders, mid to late first rounders. But if anyone was to fail, I'd say LaMelo Ball for that reason.
Same question, Doc.
Well, I mean, if you take LaMelo Ball with the 10th pick, like Jonas said, it's just like my football team this year. I took Nick Chubb at like number 10, breaks his leg in half. My season's done. There's nothing you can do to come back from losing your first round pick.
Or J.K. Dobbins. Sorry.
And it's just tough. And if anybody's going to go down, it's out of that group. It's going to be LaMelo Ball, and then the other one, obviously Kyrie Irving. Is he gonna play? Is he gonna chill with James Harden? Is he gonna take 3 days off for his sister's birthday party? I mean, I don't know what he's going to do. I don't know who him and Luka are going to pass the ball to, because that Dallas roster is messy and doesn't Doesn't look very good to me. So, and at some point, Luka, I think is gonna be like, y'all need to either get me talent in here right now or get me out of here, trade me. And if that happens this season, how is Kyrie going to react to that? So, I think I personally would not be taking Kyrie Irving in one of those first 9 point guards.
All right. Let's move over to the shooting guard position. Anthony Edwards, Jonas, is in tier 1 by himself. This seems to be the hawkening of a breakout of an NBA superstar. I think after what we saw with that was the World Cup. The World Cup this year, you know what I'm saying? And obviously the conversation between him and Steve Kerr, where Steve Kerr telling him Kobe Bryant came off the bench. I mean, Dwayne Wade came off the bench for Kobe Bryant, and Edwards telling Kerr, Kobe Bryant ain't on this team. You know what I'm saying? With that being the case, Anthony Edwards, he's looking like the next big thing, right?
Oh, yeah. And I absolutely love this. Now, if I had to take someone late first round, then I want someone that's just dependable and that's going to play 75, 76 games, not cause any drama, and there's upside there. I'm taking Anthony Edwards, right? His fantasy rank wasn't as high as people thought last year because his field goal percentage was on such high volume and it wasn't the best, right? But everything else, he checks all those boxes. I think Anthony Edwards is going to have a monster, maybe even MVP campaign, and I 100% agree with Doc here on this ranking.
Yeah, nah, Doc.
Hey, I just put the shooting guard tiers on X, Twitter, whatever. Do I tweet that out? Do I exit out? Like, what did I just do?
I'm tweeting it out, or I'm posting it. You know what I'm saying? That's
what did I just do? I put it on whatever that.
You put it on X. You posted it on X. That's why you say
it's been posted on X. It's been tweeted on what used to be Twitter.
There you go.
Anthony Davis.
Edwards
is in a tier. I mean, Anthony Edwards. Yeah, let's not get confused there. Anthony Edwards is in a tier by himself, according to me. He's going to take over. I feel like he's about to take over the world.
That's all. I'm a big Anthony Edwards supporter. Like the young man a lot. You know what I'm saying? So Anthony Edwards takeover, Jonas, is not a bad thing.
Oh, absolutely. And this is no longer Cat's team, it's Anthony Edwards' team. And it's been that way for about 6-7 months now.
He's such a dude, too, that if he was like healthy and like took it seriously and, you know what I'm saying, put more into his game, he would be fantastic. You know what I'm saying? Carl Anthony Towns. But it's like he has a little lethargicness to him. Like he misses a lot of times. And you kind of almost don't feel like he's in a rush to get back. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He has a very beautiful girlfriend in Jordan Woods. You know what I mean? I don't know if that plays into it.
That bump him off the draft boards.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just going to chill home tonight. You know what I'm saying, fellas? Tier 2, Jonas, Donovan Mitchell, James Harden, and Mikal Bridges. I don't know what to tell you about James Harden. Donovan Mitchell, I think he kind of is what he is. Numbers mirror each other, basically the same every year. Mikal Bridges is the interesting one. What is Mikal Bridges' numbers going to do? You know, he's never been an all-star, right?
Correct.
If he makes an all-star team this year, he'll win the most improved player. That's normally how that award goes. But do you think Mikal Bridges makes the all-star team this year? Is there a path to that all-star selection for him?
I think if the Nets are the 8th seed or higher, he'll make the all-star team.
Nice.
Doc, what do you think?
I mean, if he puts up the numbers he put up last year in Brooklyn, this year, then he's going to be an all-star because in those 27 games that he played in Brooklyn, he averaged, 26.1 points, 4.5 rebounds, 2.7 assists, a steal. I don't know. He was pretty good, pretty fun to have on your fantasy team once he got to Brooklyn last year. Like the numbers were way different, way better than they were when he was in Phoenix. And I feel like he's going to take a little bit of a step forward this year. Also, I kind of feel like he's probably being overdrafted at this point. I don't think I'd really I don't think he needs to be reached for in round 2, and that's really what's happening in almost every draft I've seen. I'd rather get him in round 3, but
got it.
He's exciting enough that yeah, there's tons of upside there.
Let me counter that. He's never missed an NBA game. For that reason, to me, he's a second rounder. That'd be my case.
He's never missed a college or a high school game either.
That's right. Yeah.
Wow. Your best ability is your availability, you know what I'm saying? And that'll take you a long way. All you got to do is show up, you know what I'm saying?
Well, that's a good point, Jonas. I didn't mention that, but yeah, this guy is hell-bent and determined to play all 82 games again this season. That's his number one goal, is to play in every game. And he's the only guy in the NBA who thinks that way. So
exactly.
Given that and today and load management and all this, like Jonas is right. I mean, it's worth another round or two. Hell, he might be a first rounder after thinking about that.
I know somebody is getting ready to miss about 25 games, and the kind of reaction was, I probably was going to miss about 25 games anyway. So there goes that, you know what I'm saying? So that goes to show you that not every player has a 82-game mentality. Jimmy Butler, DeJounte Murray, this is a big tier right here and a very interesting one, Doc. You put these together. I'm going to let you go at this one. We got Butler, Murray, the controversial Bane, Jaylen Brown, Zach LaVine, Paul George, Jordan Poole, who dropped 41 last night, DeMar DeRozan, and Jalen Williams. Go ahead and break down this right here for me, Doc.
Well, this tier to me is like there's old, boring guys, and then there's young, up-and-coming, fun guys. I don't really want to mess with Jimmy Butler or Paul George or DeMar DeRozan on my fantasy team. They're just boring. We know what they do. Paul George, is he going to play? Is he not going to play? DeMar DeRozan, Mr. Mid-range. Doesn't shoot threes. Is that really what you want on your fantasy team? Meanwhile, Jalen Williams is one of the most exciting up-and-comers in OKC. I can't wait to see what he does this year. Desmond Bane, I don't know what was so controversial about me taking Desmond Bane in that draft. The numbers speak for themselves last year. He's going to be even better this year with no Ja there, another year under his belt. Desmond Bane, to me, is I think he's going to be one of the most surprising players this year. Like he's going to go off sort of like Anthony Edwards did last year. There's a lot of stuff I love about tier 3. I mean, Jordan Poole, is he a good fantasy player, or is he a guy that's just going to score 40 a night and lead the league in scoring? I think it's more of the latter. But Jonas, what do you think?
Jordan Poole, the new DeMarcus Cousins of guards, right? A lot of stats on a bad team, so he's going to put up numbers
on a bad team. Listen, that volume. Volume. Hey, some people in fantasy say volume trumps efficiency.
I don't know. Jordan Poole's case, yeah. And Jordan Poole's case, yeah. And Dylan Brooks's, no.
Very good.
Jonas, are you targeting Jordan Poole?
No, I feel like he's a little bit too expensive for me. Like I saw him go in round 4 or 5 the other day, and I just feel like, you know what, that kind of ruins field goal percentage for me. So I'm just going to hold off. His assist numbers aren't amazing either, so steals aren't great. So for that reason, I'm out. As
you'd rather have Kyle. Would you rather have Kyle Kuzma?
No, not necessarily. Right. I still like Jordan Poole more than Kyle Kuzma. But as for this tier, I like Doc's order. I might argue that Jimmy Butler, DeJounte Murray, Desmond Bane, and Paul George are in another tier of their own. But these guys like the Docs that are all extremely close together.
Yep. All right, Doc, when we get down to your 4th tier here, this is where things get a little bit interesting. Brandon Ingram, BI was a disaster this summer. Bradley Beal was playing second fiddle to Kyle Kuzma last year. CJ McCollum goes in that boring category. I think I'm a supporter of Andrew Wiggins. I love Devin Vassell. I'm done with Terry Rozier. Jalen Green is cool. I don't want no parts of Klay Thompson. I'm not the biggest Buddy Hield guy, and I'm warming up to Austin Reeves.
I love it.
I like the one sentence, 3-word sentence breakdown of that entire tier. Let me try it. Brandon Ingram injured. Bradley Beal, 4th wheel now, 3rd or 4th wheel in Phoenix. CJ McCollum, I feel like his time has come and gone. He's just sort of a guy now. Wiggins is the one that I'm kind of high on here. Wiggins and Devin Vassell. Wiggins because he was out injured for half the season. He was out for personal reasons for half the season. Everybody forgot about him. He's still a huge part of what they want to do in Golden State. Guy can block shots. He can hit threes. He can steal the ball. I just think Wiggins is like extreme value later in your draft. He's a guy you can get in the later rounds that can really make a difference on your team. And then Vassell is young. He's fun. He was injured last year. He didn't play a lot. He does play for Pop. That's a little scary. But Devin Vassell, man, I have yet to meet a fantasy analyst who does not love Devin Vassell. Rozier, I'm done with. Jalen Green, Van Vliet arrival will be interesting to see how they get along together. Clay's old. Buddy Hield got sort of sent to the bench for Benedict Mathurin. He's not very happy about it from what I hear. Who knows how that's going to end. I love Austin Reeves.
Yeah. Go ahead, Jonas. You give us your player-by-player 3-word breakdown.
Okay, I got you. Brandon Ingram looked horrible during the summer for World Cup. No interest in him. Zion coming back really, really hurts him. Bradley Beal, going to be the point guard. I may be slightly higher on you guys than him. It's going to be him and Devin Booker rotating point guard reps. CJ McCollum, I want nothing to do with him. Just like you guys said, Dyson Daniels, look out for him. I think in the second half of the season, he could take his job. Andrew Wiggins, absolutely fantastic value, especially for punt free throw builds. Devin Vassell, easily the number one target here. Going to thrive next to Wemby. Terry Rozier, we're just going to keep knocking him like you guys do. Zero interest. Jalen Green, I actually like Jalen Green a lot. I think off-ball movement for him is going to be key with Fred VanVleet. They've been working out together all summer. I'm excited to see the Houston Rockets this year. Klay Thompson, old, washed, don't want him. Extension talks are not going well. That's kind of iffy. Buddy Hield, where's he going to go, right? Last we heard, he's on the trade block, but who's going to acquire him? I do like him, though. You can get him round 9, and he can win you three-pointers by himself unless you're playing against a team with Curry. And Austin Reeves, this is his backcourt now. It's not D'Lo's. It's Austin Reeves. So,
yeah,
love him.
The next tier, Derek White, Bruce Brown, Jordan Clarkson, and Shaden Sharp. Jordan Clarkson, I went to school down here in South Carolina State University, and at one point they said from entering as a freshman to leaving out as a senior is you see the biggest difference out of any college in the country, right? And then I look at Jordan Clarkson, and I be like, this doesn't look like the same dude that came into the league. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, what happened to Jordan Clarkson? You know what I'm saying? Doc, to me, this is actually Shaden Sharp and Jordan Clarkson, though, to be honest with you. I still like him as a player.
I took Jordan Clarkson with my last pick in the ESPN draft day before yesterday. I was kind of excited about it. Like, he's not an all-world fantasy athlete. Like, you don't go out into your fantasy basketball draft and think, man, I've just got to make sure I get Jordan Clarkson tonight. But if he's there late, like, there's nothing wrong with Jordan Clarkson. Shaden Sharp is all upside, most fun guy to watch, the most fun in-game dunker that we have in the league right now. And no Dame, and Portland's going to be bad. Shaden Sharp is going to ball. I love Bruce Brown. He reminds me of like your nickname, the fantasy executive. Like, I kind of feel like Bruce Brown is like the fantasy executive of basketball players. He's just going to play ball on both ends of the floor for Indy. He's going to be a good locker room guy. He's going to be a good mentor to all those kids. They paid him a lot of money.
Besides that,
he's going to be out.
Very similar. Good locker room guy, mentor to younger kids. You know what I'm saying? Paid him a whole bunch of money.
$20 million.
That didn't happen.
And then Derek White was going to be super fun until Jrue Holiday came in and rained on our parade. But Derek White's a great rebounding guard. Good fantasy numbers guy. Should be fine.
What do you think, Jonas?
Yeah, I want to comment on Derek White. I actually still like Derek White, even with Jrue Holiday there, because there is zero depth in Boston right now. Absolutely zero depth. They have two bigs, Horford and Porzingis, and Horford's going to sit, 15, 20 games? Man, they're going to have to go small a lot, and I still think White plays a massive role.
Well, it's not like Porzingis is an Iron Man.
That's
either.
True. That's very true.
He may sit 35 or 40. I don't know.
As somebody who once rooted for the New York Knicks, I can feel you on that. All right, tier 6 is is okay. That's that last tier, Doc. We're not gonna get to that one. You got a
It's
good
a
amount of
bad
people
tier
in
too.
there. Tier 6: Josh Hart, Gary Trent, Jaden Ivey, Kevin Herter. Your boy used to be down there in the A. Bojan Bogdanovic. Doc, we starting to get to some dudes that kind of like. Why is Jaden Ivey in this tier? That's the question.
I don't know.
Higher on Jaden Ivey
And
than
I feel like we
everybody
talk
else?
about. I feel like we talk about Jaden Ivey every
Doc,
day.
I think people want him to blow up and be like this superstar player.
And maybe he will. I mean, that's the thing. When you get down to tier 6 and tier 7, these are guys you're taking a flyer on and hoping something good happens. I think Jaden Ivey has the most upside of anyone. Jaden Ivey probably should have been up there in tier 5. I like Jaden Ivey. He went to Purdue. I hope he blows up. I hope he blows
mom
up.
coach
But
at Notre
I
Dame,
just
right? His mom was the Notre Dame coach, right? I believe so. I think his mom is the Notre Dame's women head basketball coach. Jonas, you don't like Jaden Ivey either? Do you think he should be in tier 5?
Probably not. Look, there's something there, but he can't make a basket, right? So last year, 58% at the rim. Okay, not the worst. 33% at close range. Yikes.
Yeah.
40% at mid range. Can't hit threes yet. Not loving it. So steals, blocks were a little underwhelming as well. And it's just like, what are you bringing to the table right now? The assists aren't going to be as high because Cade Cunningham's there. Plus, they got the new Thompson twin. So I don't know, man. Thompson brother, excuse me. So yeah. I'm off him.
I'm a big league pass guy. I really can't wait to me it'd be opening night on TNT. Whatever. I want to see, get the ring. Okay, it's cool. And then I want to see Kevin Durant chasing it. But I'm really looking forward to Wednesday night when it's not the big TV games and you really get a chance to look at it and break it down and stuff like that. And as a big league pass guy, I have put going to a Detroit Pistons game on my bucket list. Like, it looks like they really, despite the team not being great, you know what I'm saying, for a number of years now, it looks like they really enjoy the atmosphere and the environment. Nobody?
Sure.
No, y'all want to go on a road trip to a Pistons game? Pistons, Hawks, Doc, anything? Nothing?
I'm good. I don't need to go to Detroit right now. I think I'm okay.
All right.
I watch it on League Pass, though. But my League Pass is going to be a lot of Wemby and a lot of OKC. Man, I think OKC. I think if you are new to basketball and are just coming in and playing fantasy for the first time or really going to watch basketball for the first time this year and you're looking for a team to be a fan of, I think OKC is the way to go. I just think they're going to be so fun. And I can't wait to watch Giddey and Jalen and SGA and Chet all out there at the same time, man. It's going to be awesome. So as far as the Detroit Pistons go, they've got a young group of players. They're not going to be good. Like Washington, Detroit, they're both going to be messy, but they're also both going to be fun to watch and see what happens with those guys there. Because there's going to be players on both teams that we don't really know are going to step up that will.
I mean, my league pass is going to be a lot of Orlando Magic and Indiana Pacers. Jonas, you have any? I mean, since we're into league pass tiers.
Just put Spurs number 1, Thunder number 2. I want to watch Wemby nutmeg Reggie Bullock again over and over.
But yeah, to your point, Corey, the Pacers are going to be a lot of my league pass, and then of course the Hawks. I'm in Georgia. They're on my regular TV every day. Anyway, Bobby Rathman,
shout
my
out
boy.
To Bobby Rathman, big fan.
I'll be watching a lot of Hawks.
I get to catch them a lot too. I'll pay attention a lot, to them. So my thing is, right, so I'm the Hornets, right? But I go to watch the Hornets on League Pass, and they say that I can't because the game is already on in my area.
Blackout.
But I don't have Bally Sports South, so I'm like, this is ridiculous. I can never watch the Hornets. Unless I go.
I'm in the same boat. I'm in the same boat.
Yeah, you can't watch them either. So
no, and I'm 2 hours away. I'm 2 hours away from Charlotte, and it won't let me watch it. I have to stream it on Reddit.
You can't watch the Braves. You can't watch the Braves in Atlanta unless you have DirecTV. And it's the same thing. I can think all these Bally's are tied to Direct, maybe. So That does make it tough. I'm a dinosaur. I'm going to go down with the DirecTV ship. I hate streaming. I like knowing where all my channels are. I like having the Braves and the Hawks. So I'm going to pay for TV until I can't do it anymore or until it dies.
All right.
And I get to watch the teams I want to watch.
There you go. I cannot knock anyone for that. Now that we did our league pass rankings, I'm gonna run through these final groupings, right?
Hey, we should do that next year, Corey. We should.
I'm actually going to see if we can get it on the. I'm actually going to see if we can figure out a way to do it before the season starts. To be honest with you,
well, we could probably write it today. Yeah. Just do a tiers column on NBA League.
Yeah,
Pass.
No, I think that'd be I think it's actually a great idea. You know what I'm saying? And if you haven't watched, to me, Austin Carr is fantastic. You know what I'm saying? And the Cleveland Cavaliers color analyst Austin Carr. To me, he's the best color guy in local basketball. He kind of has like this grandpa thing. Like, son, pull your pants up, boy. You know what I'm saying? Like he kind of has that to him. And I'm like, I feel like he's like an older uncle of mine or something. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Who's always giving advice. I'm a fan. But I do want to talk about a couple players before we get out of here. Terrence Mann, who doesn't want to be, who is apparently holding up the James Harden deal. Dante DiVincenzo and KCP. Caldwell Pope. What do you think, Doc? Start with Terrence Mann and him basically being the key to James Harden getting to the Clippers.
Yeah, and Terrence Mann has had some fun runs and some good outings with Clippers in the past. There's a lot of upside there, but I mean, he's not going to get drafted in fantasy leagues. It's just like I've got tier 8. We're down into tier 8. Yeah. Which is a lot of tiers. Most of those guys aren't going to have any fantasy value. I am intrigued by Terrence Mann. It is interesting that a guy that most casual NBA fans haven't even heard of is holding up the James Harden deal. And I don't know that much about it because I get sick of reading about James Harden and I usually stop after the first paragraph.
I feel you.
But yeah, it's interesting stuff. Who else did you ask me about?
Dante DiVincenzo.
Dante DiVincenzo. Right?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, Dante. When he was with the Bucks, man, he was pretty fun, pretty good player. And now what? Chicago, we got Kobe White. I've kind of become a Kobe White
supporter.
Kobe White guy.
Okay.
Oh wait. I got the wrong team.
Yeah, Dante's on the Knicks now.
My bad.
Which I think, Doc, the reason why I asked is because I think he's the kind of guy that would fit in good, and kind of knowing Knicks fans from being one at one point in my basketball watching days, the Garden's going to take to him.
I think so. I mean, like I said, when he was with the Bucks, he was a complete player, kind of a fantasy glue guy. He wasn't going to hurt you anywhere. He wasn't going to win you games, but he wasn't going to hurt you, and he'll help hold things together. I think the Knicks fans will rally around Dante DiVincenzo. He's got it. He works hard. He plays hard. He plays smart. Emmanuel Quickley is probably going to be in the way of Dante DiVincenzo being a big fantasy guy, but because I like Emmanuel Quickley. I wish he would get a little more.
His float game is starting to improve too.
A little more run, but Jonas, what do you think about DiVincenzo? I've always kind of been a fan.
Yeah, he's going to be the 7th or 8th rotation guy. I think he's going to get 26 to 28 minutes. Really good steal rate. Really good secondary playmaker. Really good rebounder for his size. I like him a lot, and I think I'd be disappointed if we didn't mention Christian Braun because he's in this tier as well. He's probably going to be Denver's 6th man. Similar stat set as DiVincenzo. Really good cutter. He's going to thrive next to Jokic. They have him as their Bruce Brown replacement. I think Christian Braun is a very good last-round flyer right now.
That's good. And basically, Jonas, I was going to finish up this program by asking you to close us out on that tier, and you did it without me asking. So there you go, right there. There you go. Chemistry is what that's called.
Natural.
Yeah.
Yes. All right, time for us to get out of here. Don't forget, everybody, sportstopia.io is the place to go to get these tiers and get ready for your upcoming fantasy basketball draft. So the homies, Dr. Ray and Jonas Nader, is Corey Parson, the fantasy executive. We out.